In this video, I'm going to show you guys 10 products that are the best products to sell in December of 2024. And I'm going to go through them. We're going to jump over to my laptop shortly here, and I'm actually going to show you 10 product categories and 10 products that you can sell that even if a million of you guys watch this video, it won't be over competitive because the demand is there. And if you want a reason to stick through the video, the reason is that it takes me like 15 to 20 hours of research to do these videos, to give you these product lists, because I quite literally spend 15 to 20 hours researching these products to make sure there is the demand, there's the social proof, going through ad sets, going through companies selling them, and everything you need. If you want to know who I am, I do this for a living now. So I'm going to give you guys 10 products that you can sell and be successful, have good profit margins, and we're going to find them organically. Obviously, I've got my notes, but I'm going to show you my process discovery, like how I do the discovery on dropshipping sites, so you can get a really good idea of what that even means and how you're going to compete and what I'm actually looking for as I'm kind of like sourcing the product within the niche. You guys are going to get a really good idea, and we're going to jump into that right now. So I'll see you guys on the computer right now. Okay, these 10 products, and we're about to go through them. Obviously, we're looking at some beds right now. This is actually not where we're going to start. We're going to start with some RC planes. These are 10 products where I've basically done research based on ad volume, search volume, availability right now, content over the internet, and most importantly, the dynamics of going into the Christmas season with dropshipping. So first and foremost, this is a no-brainer. This is super easy. We're going to go with an RC plane. This is a product where it's a high ticket volume, right? Our strike price, which is not our sale price, and that's just because we're not signed in, so they're giving us an initial welcome deal. Our strike price is what we would actually use. We're seeing things that are about $50, $60, $40 where we can start selling these. This is a great set of products. There's a lot of options here, and it's something that's really easy to make content on if you're going with organic content. So even if you're competing with holiday ad prices, you can make a lot of organic content with this. It's also really easy to get these shipped out to other content creators, and it's something exciting that they might make videos on. So this would be my number one product, specifically because we're going into the holiday season and because search terms, keywords, and other companies aren't pushing this right now. So that's the big critical thing with a lot of the things that I'm about to show you is I've gone and looked at the data around what's being advertised, how common, and how much these are being pushed. There seems to be a niche in the market. Because there was a niche in the market and I found this kind of like gap, we're also going to do RC helicopters. We're going to sort by orders, and you're going to see, a lot of options, great pricing, right? Again, something that's very easy to produce a lot of content. You can get really creative with organic content, and it's another thing where you can really fight against paid ads and really scrape together great products and basically great margins on it. And again, this is a product, the RC helicopters, the RC planes, there's a big drop in what's being advertised right now. The last RC thing, again, is RC cars. For the same reason we've just talked about, there's a big thing here. The one thing, and it's funny that you can already tell people are starting to find the trend in the opening that I just found. In doing my research, I basically found the biggest gap right now is with RC, like construction equipment, which obviously has a big market value, especially with kids. And you can tell that AliExpress is pushing this first because my guess is people are starting to jump on this trend. This is very relevant right now, right? Very relevant right now. Next on our list is something that's a little bit unusual. This is more for the high volume folks that are looking to do high volumes, right? And I was looking into the fishing industry and specifically seeing that ads and sales around tackle boxes and small hook boxes and portable, basically fishing bait lure storage is down. The other beautiful thing about these is pricing is super aggressive. You can have a big markup. They're super lightweight, so it's easier to deal with shipping issues. They cost less to solve. And on top of that, you have a lot of color options, and you can actually work with multiple drop shippers here. So if you're building out a store to support the solution, right, you can basically bring a customer in, and you have a lot of options to solve and basically convert the customer once they've come in. So if you can make media that brings a customer to your store, you can actually basically stock out a store that's going to have plenty of options. Again, it's also easy to make really engaging organic content with these. And also, just the biggest thing, if you look at the fishing industry right now and social media ads, there's a gap here. Next, and this is something that I've talked about in the past with other videos, sunglasses are really hard to compete with. But if you niche down, and let's say you're going to go for cycling sunglasses, you can niche down and advertise. Again, just like the tackle boxes, this is good for those high volume folks that want kind of just the volume approach where it's all about ad spend, it's all about media, it's all about kind of networking and bringing customers in the door. You have a lot of options, you have a lot of color options. They're very inexpensive, they're cheap to ship because they're low weight, and there's not a lot of complexity here, so it's hard to mess them up, and quality is generally pretty good. So for the high volume folks, this is definitely a niche. This also lines up really well going into Christmas. This is a cheaper item, so it's really easy to be gifted. Okay, this is a little bit unusual, and a lot of people think about keyboards and mouses as something that is very oversaturated. And generally, you're right, but ad spend on this niche is very, very low right now. And quote unquote inexpensive options are harder to come by. And there's actually more flack at some known brands for producing inexpensive options that don't work. So there is a niche here. Now, the niche is for uniqueness. So if I was going this route, I'd be looking at very unique options. Obviously, they're a little bit expensive. I'd be looking at the $40 to $50 mark, trying to mark up to about $85 and finding a company that will basically send it. All I'm really looking for, and to be honest, actually, I'm looking at a few keyboards that I've bought for my company to have staff use, and they are here. And I bought them off Amazon, and they were, actually specifically it's this, and they were remarked as something else. They're good quality. I've used one for like 2 years. So this is a niche where it is oversaturated, but the actual ad spend on it is really, really low. So it's an open market right now, especially leading into Christmas. If you can get this one before Black Friday, you can do a lot of damage here. Another a little bit unusual one, and this is based on keyword volume, just looking at the basically the shoe and clothing industry. I don't personally like jumping into this industry. I don't actually like to use wearables, but I was noticing that there was a really big dip in basically shoe and basically clothing care, but I think shoe care kits are something that you can kind of like find yourself niched into. They're not that expensive. They're really easy to make content on. Again, the big focus on this one is that you can just make tons and tons of TikToks based on this. Lots of examples. You could create literally a TikTok just cleaning shoes, right? So there's a lot that you can do with this one. I think there's a big opening for December. Another big one, and this is one that I was actually looking to get into, but I decided not to just because something else took off, was backpacks. I did need to buy a backpack for a very small hiking trip that I was doing, and I wanted something that was basically tossable. And then I found this exact backpack on Amazon. Obviously, it's on AliExpress, and I think that on Amazon it was listed for like 50 something dollars. I also just realized that if you actually look at Amazon ads and if you actually look at some of the data around what they're pushing, backpacks seem to be trending down right now. Might not be a bad time to capitalize. The reason I say this is more of a long stay. Although this is a volume game, once you get into something like backpacks, if you can carve yourself a niche, you're there for a long time. Now, super broad one, car accessories, but there's actually one that I really like here, and it is quite literally this car window, basically cleaner for when your windows get fogged up. I live in the Northeast of the United States. It's going into winter. This is absolutely something that you can make tons of organic content with. It's very inexpensive. It ships in 2 weeks, and the most important thing here is it's really easy to create content with. And I can't say that enough. It's also something that's light. There's not a lot of room for like quality issues, right? It's a pretty simple product, and you could probably sell this easily for $15 or $14.99. You'll have great margins. The last thing, and I know it's the first thing we saw before, was dog and cat beds. Now, this is strictly a play going into Black Friday and into Christmas. One of my favorite things to do is play in the pet niche around big holidays where perceived discounts get people to spend money. People will spend on their pets, and giving a 50% off something that's ridiculously overpriced anyways will convert people. This is a really good time to start finding a company and a brand that supplies really, really good beds, really, really good options where you can be relatively competitive, but specifically go into Black Friday and Christmas just to basically give a 50% discount on paper so that you convert a customer. Well, hopefully you guys learned something there. Those are the best spaces and products to be in December of 2024. The research is there. Give it a try. And honestly, guys, like if you're not trying one, you should try one, or else you've just wasted your time watching the video and you shouldn't do anything entrepreneurial. Because if you're not going to put your effort where your words are, it doesn't mean anything. So go out there, try it. It doesn't really cost you anything to try it. And like the worst and best things, right? If you're really thinking about it, the worst that can happen is you make no money and you spend like no money, or you spend like a little bit of money because you're doing a trial period or something. And what's the craziest part? What's the best thing that could happen? You can find yourself a business that makes a lot of money, right? Pretty good incentives to give it a go. Just like try. So I'll see you guys in the next video.